All-you-can-eat buffet employees, what is the most disgusting display of gluttony you have witnessed? Story 1. I thought I'd seen it all working at a pizza buffet, but nothing prepared me for the legend of Booth Guy. He came in for lunch, put away an impressive amount of pizza, and then, without shame, settled into his booth for a full-on nap. Just curled up like he was paying rent. Hours later, he woke up, stretched, and calmly walked right back up to the buffet for dinner like it was a totally normal Tuesday. And they didn't even kick him out. Legally, we couldn't. It was like professional homelessness, but with unlimited pizza. Story 2. Golden Corral on a Saturday night is a war zone. I once watched two grown men nearly throw hands over crab legs. One guy had stacked his plate into a monstrous 8-inch tall seafood tower, leaving the tray completely empty. The guy behind him? Furious. Yelling, swearing, demanding he share the wealth. And just when I thought it couldn't get worse, the crab hoarder starts cracking shells right at the table like a medieval king, making full-on eye contact with the other guy as he dunked each piece in butter. The tension? Unmatched. The audacity? Legendary. I have never seen pettier seafood vengeance in my life. Story 3. Worked at a Chinese buffet for years, and nothing haunts me more than the ranch man. This dude walked in, loaded his plate, and then, because apparently using a ramekin like a normal person was too much effort, proceeded to smear ranch dressing all the way from his wrist to his elbow. No joke. As he ate, he just brushed each bite along his arm like some kind of human condiment dispenser. And honestly, I couldn't even be mad. I was too busy wondering why the hell a Chinese buffet even had ranch dressing in the first place. Story 4. A guy once walked into the pizza buffet, asked for a cup of water, and then, like a goddamn magician, proceeded to stuff half a pizza into the cup, really packed that thing down like he was loading a musket. Then, without a word, he speed-walked to the parking lot, peeled the styrofoam off like it was the wrapper on an ice cream cone, and took enormous, slobbery bites out of the pizza brick. The best part? I wasn't even mad. I was giving him a ride to a job interview. Story 5. I was at a buffet once when this lady came in like she was on a mission. She beelined straight to the dessert section, grabbed 4 entire plates of pumpkin pie, and sat down. Before she even finished those, she saw fresh pies being brought out, practically sprinted to the counter, cut in front of a kid reaching for a slice, and grabbed 4 more plates. She didn't even finish them all. Just left behind 3 mostly uneaten pieces like some kind of pastry hoarder. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, she absolutely could have taken 3.14 slices instead just to complete the joke. Story 6. I once saw a man eat 4 massive plates of deep-fried Southern food, clutch his chest dramatically, and claim he was having a heart attack. The whole restaurant gasped. Then, just as we were about to call 911, he let out the loudest, foulest fart I have ever witnessed in my life, like the kind that makes the wallpaper peel. Then he laughed. And then, because the laws of physics apparently don't apply to this man, he got up, grabbed 2 more plates of food, and polished them off like nothing happened. That wasn't a heart attack. That was a fart attack. Story 7. Worked at a buffet steakhouse, and we had this elderly couple that showed up every single day. They'd grab a table, pull out their books, and just graze for hours. A plate of bacon here, a little bit of salad there, maybe some dessert after a few chapters. It wasn't even a meal, it was a lifestyle. My mom, who also worked there, said legally there was nothing we could do about it. And honestly, I respect the hustle. Retirement goals. Story 8. You think you've seen food waste? Let me tell you about the sushi apocalypse I witnessed. This family walks into a Yo Sushi, stacks plates on plates, forming a skyline of untouched food, and then just leaves. They looked genuinely shocked when the waiter took 10 full minutes to tally up their $400 bill. Like, what did you think was going to happen? The restaurant wasn't running a goddamn food museum. Story 9. Worked at an all-you-can-eat steakhouse, and a woman came in with 2 small kids. She told us she wouldn't be paying for them because they won't be eating. Seems legit, right? Except halfway through the meal, we noticed the kids were completely missing. Turns out she was feeding them under the table like a pair of golden retrievers. straight up sneaking them bites of steak and mashed potatoes like it was some kind of covert mission. I mean, I get it, buffets aren't cheap, but ma'am, this isn't a spy movie, just pay for the damn kids. Story 10. Guy came into the buffet one day, went straight to the omelet station and asked for eggs over easy. No big deal, right? Except when my coworker asked, 1 or 2, the dude just stared her dead in the eye and said, 8. She thought it was a joke. It was not a joke. She made all 8, he ate all 8 in about 2 minutes, and then he just left. No other food, no drink, no dessert, just a straight-up drive-by egg massacre. Story 11. Once saw a guy at a Golden Corral inhale 16 bowls of pasta like it was his final meal on earth. Then he stood up, made it about 3 steps toward the door, and proceeded to throw up right in the lobby. And the worst part? He wasn't even a big guy. I don't know where he put it all. It was like watching a magic trick, except the big reveal was regurgitated fettuccine Alfredo. Story 12. Worked at a buffet for years, and we had this one regular who came in twice a week. We called him Belly Shirt Guy because, well, his gut was always hanging out under his shirt. But here's the thing. He was legendary. This man could take down entire pizzas and mountains of pasta like it was nothing. But then, one day, he just switched. Started eating salads, drinking water instead of soda. Over time, he lost like 75 pounds. By the time I left that job, he actually looked healthy. Never thought I'd say this, but I was proud of Belly Shirt Guy. Story 13. I was at a Chinese buffet once when I watched a guy straight up bathe his JoJo potato wedges in chocolate syrup. Like, grabbed an entire extra plate just for them, marched over to the dessert bar, and drowned them like they owed him money. Then, as he sat down and took the saddest bite I've ever seen, our eyes met. And in that moment I saw pure defeat. Not guilt. Not embarrassment, just a man who had given up on life's judgment. To this day I still wonder, did he actually enjoy it? Or was this just the culinary equivalent of rock bottom? Story 14. I used to work at a buffet where we charged for drinks, but they were unlimited. No big deal, right? Well, apparently some people would rather die than pay $2.50 for Pepsi. We had one guy who drank 10 full glasses, like 1,000 calories of straight sugar, and then threw an absolute fit when we charged him for it. Wanted to talk to the manager, argued that he barely drank any. Sir, at this point, I think your blood type is high fructose corn syrup. Story 15. The worst thing I ever saw at a buffet? A woman who shit herself on the way to the bathroom. And I don't mean like a little accident. I mean full evacuation right there in front of the food stations. It just fell out of her shorts onto the floor. And you'd think that would be the end of the story, but no. She went to the bathroom, cleaned up, and then, like nothing happened, sat right back down and kept eating. No shame, no hesitation, just an iron will and a stomach of steel. I still wake up in cold sweats thinking about it. Story 16. I once saw a woman at a buffet commit full-blown pie theft. She walked in, went straight to the dessert station, and hoarded an entire 4 plates of pumpkin pie. Didn't even look around first. Just grabbed them like she was on a mission. And before she was even done eating, she saw fresh ones being put out, raced back over, cut off a little kid trying to grab a slice, and stole 4 more. The best part? She didn't even finish them all. Just left behind 3.14 slices like she was trying to make a mathematical statement. Story 17. I worked at a buffet where this guy came in every week, and I swear he treated the place like an extreme eating challenge. One time he went to the omelet station and asked for eggs over easy. My coworker, thinking he was normal, asked, 1 or 2? The guy just looked at her and deadpanned, 8. She thought he was joking. He wasn't. She made all 8, he ate them in 2 minutes flat, and then he just left. No sides, no drinks, no dessert. Just a full-speed protein injection before vanishing into the night. Story 18. Once saw a mom bring her 2 kids into the steakhouse buffet and insist she wasn't paying for them because they wouldn't be eating. Fair enough, right? Except halfway through, we realized the kids had vanished. Turns out she was feeding them under the table like stray dogs. Just sneaking them bites of steak and mashed potatoes, casually wiping their mouths like it was a covert mission. I get that times are tough, but ma'am, please, this isn't Ocean's 11. just pay for the kids. Story 19. Golden Corral on a Friday night is not for the weak. One time I saw a guy eat 8 plates of prime rib. At first we were impressed. But then we started wondering, where is he putting it all? By the 6th plate, even the guy at the carving station knew his name. By the 8th, we were taking bets on whether he'd live to see dessert. And then, as if summoned by fate, an elderly woman pulled a plate of chicken wings out of her purse and walked out like it was the most normal thing in the world. Story 20. I once watched a full-on fistfight break out at a Chinese buffet on crab leg night. This one guy had stacked his plate insanely high, like a foot tall, and the guy behind him was not having it. "Dude, leave some for the rest of us," he yelled. The crab hoarder just stared him dead in the eyes and started cracking shells right at the table. No words, just pure, vengeful seafood destruction. The tension? Unmatched. The energy? Unholy. I've never seen 2 grown men come closer to fighting over crustaceans in my life. Story 21. Worked at a buffet and had this regular we called belly shirt guy because, well, his gut was always hanging out under his shirt. Every visit, he'd load up plates stacked with full pizzas, unlimited pasta, and more breadsticks than should be legally allowed. But one day something changed. He swapped out the pizza for salad, the pasta for water. Slowly but surely, the dude lost 75 pounds. By the time I left, he actually looked healthy. Never thought I'd say this, but I was proud of Belly Shirt Guy. Story 22. You think you've seen Gluttony? I once saw a guy at a sushi buffet turn his table into a leaning tower of regret. Plate after plate just stacked. The problem? He didn't finish half of it. So when the bill came and they charged him for the wasted sushi, he looked personally offended. "Dude, this isn't some unlimited test kitchen. You just burned through $400 worth of raw fish like it was Monopoly money." Story 23. One time, a guy walked into my buffet, asked for a cup, and then, like some food heist mastermind, stuffed an entire half pizza into the cup. Just packed it in there like a lunatic. Then, without missing a beat, he speed-walked to the parking lot, peeled the cup off like it was a wrapper, and just took massive bites out of his pizza brick. The worst part? I wasn't even mad. I was giving him a ride to a job interview. Story 24. Ever seen a man inhale 16 bowls of pasta? Because I have. It happened at Olive Garden during their never-ending pasta special. This dude was unstoppable. He kept ordering bowl after bowl, and just when I thought he'd hit his limit, he took a deep breath and kept going. Eventually, he stood up, made it 3 steps, and threw up all over the lobby floor. And the worst part? He wasn't even a big guy. No one knows where he stored all that pasta. But I think Olive Garden still has his picture up like a cautionary tale. Story 25. At a Chinese buffet, I once saw a guy go full goblin mode on a dessert bar. He got a bowl, filled it with chocolate pudding, and then, like a criminal, licked the communal serving spoon and put it back. I had to throw out the entire batch of pudding. Like, sir, did you think you were in your own kitchen? Did you think this was some medieval feast where hygiene was optional? I'm haunted to this day. Story 26. I once had a guy at the buffet who came in every day with a book, sat there for hours, and just grazed. He'd read a chapter, grab some bacon, read another chapter, get some mashed potatoes. My mom worked there too, and she told me legally there was nothing we could do. He was a paying customer, after all. And honestly, respect. Dude was out here living the retirement dream. Story 27. Worked at a Mongolian BBQ place where you could pile as much food as you wanted into a single bowl before we cooked it. Most people got a decent portion, but then there was Tower Guy. This dude took the phrase "all you can eat" as a personal challenge. He'd construct these insane architectural wonders, meat, veggies, noodles, stacked to physics-defying heights. One time he even used a cone of carrots to stabilize his base like some kind of food engineer. And when he finally walked to the grill holding his monstrosity with both hands, the whole restaurant watched in silent awe. Story 28. Saw a guy at a buffet put away 4 massive plates of fried food, clutch his chest dramatically and yell, "Oh God, I'm having a heart attack." Everyone panicked. A waitress reached for her phone to call 911. Then he let out the longest, loudest, most ungodly fart imaginable. I'm talking paint-peeling, ear-rattling, sighed in relief, laughed, and went back for more food. Like, sir, please, my soul can't take this level of stress. Story 29. My mom worked at a buffet steakhouse and told me about an elderly couple who treated the place like their personal living room. Every day they'd come in, sit down with books, and just graze. A little bacon here, some mashed potatoes there, a dessert after a few chapters. Legally, there was nothing we could do. They were paying customers. And honestly, that's the dream. Forget retirement homes. I want to live out my golden years eating unlimited buffet food and people watching like a full-time job. Story 30. I once witnessed a fistfight at a Chinese buffet on crab leg night. One dude stacked his plate ridiculously high, like a mountain of crab legs, and left nothing for anyone else. The guy behind him, livid. "Come on, man, leave some for the rest of us." The crab hoarder, dead silent. Just started cracking shells right at the table while making direct eye contact. The audacity, the commitment to the bit. I have never seen seafood vengeance this intense in my life. Story 31. I don't work at a buffet, but I once saw a woman hoard an entire dessert station. She came in, made a beeline for the pumpkin pie, and grabbed 4 whole plates. Before she even finished them, she raced back up the moment fresh pies were put out, cut in front of a kid, and grabbed 4 more. And the best part? She didn't even finish them all. Just left behind 3.14 slices like some kind of chaotic mathematician. Story 32. Had a regular at my buffet job who we nicknamed Belly Shirt Guy because, well, his gut was always hanging out of his shirt. Every visit, he'd load up entire pizzas onto his plates and drown himself in pasta. We were convinced he'd eventually die at the buffet. But one day, something changed. He switched to salads, started drinking water. Slowly but surely, the man lost 75 pounds. By the time I left, he actually looked healthy. Never thought I'd say this, but I was proud of Belly Shirt Guy. Story 33. You think you've seen food waste? I once saw a family at a Yo Sushi stack plates to towering heights and then barely eat anything. The bill came out to $400. They looked shocked. Like, what did you think was going to happen? You can't just collect sushi like Pokemon cards and expect it to be free. Story 34. Had a guy at the buffet ask for a cup of water. Seemed innocent enough. Then, before I could blink, he stuffed an entire half of a pizza into the cup, packed it down like he was making a pizza smoothie, and walked out without a word. In the parking lot, he peeled the styrofoam off like it was a popsicle wrapper and just went to town. The worst part? I wasn't even mad. I was giving him a ride to a job interview. Story 35. Golden Corral. Friday night. A man sat down and ate 16 bowls of pasta like he was preparing for hibernation. I watched in awe, wondering where he was putting it all. Finally, after the last bite, he stood up, took 3 steps toward the door, and immediately threw up right in the lobby. And the most disturbing part, he wasn't even that big. I don't know how his stomach pulled off that level of deception, but I hope Olive Garden put his picture up as a warning. Story 36. I worked at a buffet where we had a policy. You pay for what you waste. One time a guy walked in, grabbed 8 plates of sushi, 8 maybe 3, and just left the rest there like an abandoned crime scene. When we charged him for the uneaten food, he looked offended. Like, sir, this isn't an art installation. You just wasted enough sushi to fill an entire aquarium. Story 37. One of the worst things I've ever seen. A woman at a buffet who pooped herself mid-walk to the bathroom, and I mean full-on evacuation, just falling out of her shorts in front of the food stations. But the real kicker? She went to the bathroom, cleaned up, and then walked right back to her table like nothing happened and kept eating. Like, ma'am, we need to talk about what just transpired. Story 38. I once saw a guy at a buffet grab 4 full plates of fried food, shove it all down like a vacuum, and then suddenly clutch his chest and yell, "Oh God, I'm having a heart attack!" Everyone panicked. People were ready to call 911. Then he let out the loudest, most gut-wrenching fart I have ever heard in my life. Just pure destruction. The wallpaper moved. The man sighed in relief and then got up for dessert like nothing happened. "Sir, please. My heart can't take this." Story 39. Worked at a buffet with an all-you-can-eat prime rib special. First round, you got sides. After that, just straight meat. One guy came in and crushed 8 plates of prime rib. By the end of the night, the guy at the carving station knew his name. And just when I thought the night couldn't get weirder, I saw a lady feeding her kids under the table like stray dogs to avoid paying for them. I need to go lie down. Story 40. A guy once walked into my buffet, went straight to the omelet station and ordered eggs over easy. When the cook asked, "1 or 2?" he looked her dead in the eyes and said, "8." She thought he was joking. He wasn't. She made all 8. He ate them in 2 minutes flat and just walked out, no sides, no drink, no dessert. Just pure uncut egg madness. Story 41. Once had a guy try to pull a fast one on the buffet takeout policy. He came to pick up his order, glanced at the buffet, and jokingly asked, "Think I could grab something real quick?" I played along and said, "Sure, go ahead," thinking he was kidding. He was not kidding. The dude walked over, grabbed a full hard-boiled egg, shoved it in his mouth whole, and then casually paid and left. I just stood there, processing, wondering if I was now complicit in some kind of snack-based heist. Story 42. I once saw a dude at a Chinese buffet fill an entire salad bowl with nothing but ranch dressing, just a full-on trough. He brought it back to his table, took a bite of food, dipped his entire hand in the ranch, and used his wrist as a dipping station. Like, sir, there are rules in society. Story 43. I worked at a buffet for years, but nothing haunts me more than the liquor. This guy would walk up to the bread rolls, pick one up, lick it, and if it wasn't fresh enough for his liking, put it back. Just straight-up taste-testing the inventory like some feral raccoon in human form. And apparently, this wasn't a one-time offense. His family knew about it and just silently walked behind him, throwing away whatever he defiled. Sir, just grab a fresh one and move on. This isn't a farmer's market. Story 44. Golden Corral was not built for the things I've seen. One time, I watched a grown man stack his plate so high that as he was reaching for a serving spoon, the whole thing collapsed onto the floor. He demanded a new plate of food, but the manager pointed at the sign that said, "Dropped food must be paid for." This was not the first time this had happened. The guy was furious. But honestly, if you're stacking your plate like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, some of that is on you. Story 45. I saw a woman at a buffet commit full-blown pie theft. She walked in, grabbed 4 full plates of pumpkin pie, and started eating. Then, before she even finished, she rushed back to grab 4 more. At one point, she cut off a kid trying to get a slice and hoarded them all like she was preparing for the apocalypse. And here's the kicker, she didn't even finish them all. Just left behind 3.14 slices. Like, ma'am, was that intentional? Are you making a math joke? Story 46. One time at a Chinese buffet, I saw a very large man walk up to the salad bar and drown his plate in ranch dressing. Except, plot twist, he didn't just drizzle it. No, he smeared it from his wrist to his elbow and used his own arm as a ranch applicator, just brushing each bite along the trough of dressing on his skin like some kind of barbaric sauce sommelier. And the worst part, he wasn't ashamed. He was proud. Story 47. My friend worked at a pizza buffet where a guy came in for lunch, ate a ton of food, and then instead of leaving, just fell asleep in his booth. For hours, like fully curled up, using a pile of napkins as a pillow. And when he woke up, he went right back up to the buffet and ate dinner. My friend asked the manager if they could kick him out, but nope. Legally, they couldn't. The man paid for his meal, and he was technically still eating. That wasn't a buffet trip. That was a work shift. Story 48. Once at an all-you-can-eat steakhouse, a woman brought her 2 small kids but insisted she wouldn't pay for them because they wouldn't be eating. Suspicious. A little while later, we couldn't find the kids. Turns out she had them under the table, sneaking them bites of steak and mashed potatoes like feral raccoons. I get that times are tough, but this isn't a covert mission, ma'am. just pay for the kids. Story 49. I once watched a guy eat 4 massive plates of fried food, grab his chest, and dramatically yell, "I'm having a heart attack!" The whole restaurant froze. Someone reached for their phone to call 911. Then, he let out the loudest, most ungodly fart I have ever witnessed in my life. Like full wall-shaking destruction. The man sighed in relief, laughed, and went back up for more food. Sir, you cannot put me through this level of emotional whiplash. Story 50. Ever seen a man eat 16 bowls of pasta in one sitting? Because I have. Olive Garden's never-ending pasta special was not ready for this guy. He kept ordering bowl after bowl, and we just watched in awe. But after the last bite, he stood up, took 3 steps, and threw up right in the lobby. And the worst part? He wasn't even that big. No one knows where he stored all that pasta, but I'm convinced it was some kind of dark magic. Story 51. One time at a sushi buffet, I watched a family stack their table with mountains of plates, barely touch the food, and then act shocked when they got hit with a $400 bill. Like, what did you think was going to happen? You can't just collect sushi like action figures and expect it to be free. This is a restaurant, not a display case for your poor life choices. Story 52. I worked at a buffet where we had an omelet station, and one day a guy came up and asked for eggs over easy. My coworker, being a normal person, asked, "1 or 2?" The guy stared her dead in the eyes and said, "8." She thought it was a joke. It wasn't. She made all 8. He ate them in 2 minutes flat, and then he just walked out. No sides, no drinks, no dessert, just pure uncut egg insanity. Story 53. Once had a guy at the buffet who thought he was pulling a fast one. He came in to pick up a to-go order, glanced at the buffet, and jokingly asked, "Think I could grab something real quick?" My coworker, assuming he was kidding, said, "Sure, go ahead." This man walked over, grabbed an entire hard-boiled egg, shoved it in his mouth hole, and casually left. No chewing, no hesitation, just an unholy level of commitment. Story 54. Worked at a buffet where we charged for drinks separately, but they were unlimited. One guy drank 10 full glasses of Pepsi, 10, and when he got the bill, he lost his mind. Started yelling about how he shouldn't have to pay for it. "Sir, at this point I think your blood type is corn syrup." Story 55. Golden Corral. Friday night. A man sat down and ate 8 full plates of prime rib. The guy at the carving station knew his name by the end of the night. And then, just as I thought the night couldn't get weirder, an elderly woman pulled a full plate of chicken wings out of her purse and walked out like she had somewhere better to be. Story 56. I once watched a man take a styrofoam cup, pack it full of pizza slices, smash it down like he was loading a musket, and then walk straight out the door. He peeled the cup off in the parking lot and started eating it like a pizza popsicle. The best part? I was giving him a ride to a job interview. Story 57. At a Chinese buffet, I once saw a man lick the communal chocolate pudding spoon, put it back, and walk away like he hadn't just committed a crime. I had to throw out the entire batch of pudding. Like, sir, this is a society. We have rules. Story 58. I once saw a woman poop herself mid-stride on the way to the buffet bathroom. And I don't mean a little accident. I mean full-on, visible, leaving a trail situation. And the most horrifying part? She went to the bathroom, cleaned up, and then sat back down and kept eating. Like, "Ma'am, we need to have a conversation." Story 59. Crab leg night at the buffet was not for the weak. I once saw a guy stack his plate a foot high with crab legs, leaving nothing for anyone else. The guy behind him was furious. "Dude, leave some for the rest of us." The crab hoarder? Dead silent. Just started cracking shells right at the table while making full eye contact. I have never seen seafood-based aggression like that before. Story 60. I once saw a kid at a buffet lick the chocolate fountain stream like a drinking fountain while his mom just stood there and let it happen. Like, "Ma'am, please get your feral child away from the communal chocolate."